Not everyone knows how the sausage is made. Man, this thing's moving so fast. But this is how it's done. And we know how to do it. That's a little bitty house. But it's good. So we're going to go inside and check it out. This thing can only be 22 feet tall. I measured it the other day. Looks like we're coming in at 21.9, 21.10. So I still got 2 inches to work with for the roof, which is about what we like to do, because I'm going to have standing seam metal on this thing when we're all done. Funny thing happened on the way to the foundation elevation survey. These guys came in here, and when I had them shoot the foundation, the main thing you want to do is make sure the setbacks were hit. This is supposed to be 3 feet off the south side and 4 feet off the east side, and I needed to make sure that was set, and we had the foundation in place for that. And on this side, we had the first floor band in, and that's all. And on this side, we had this foundation poured, which is the garage slab, and we had just a couple of walls up. Well, they had no idea this wasn't the finished floor elevation, so they shot this elevation. This is the garage slab. We can park. You see that stairwell back there? Right there, that stairwell. You see how it's elevated off the ground here. So the Defender and the Grenadier that we own, each of them can come into this garage and pull forward and be fully enclosed in here. We're going to AC this garage as well. I'm going to have to pick up the camera and move it. The HVAC is going to be kind of a modified hybrid advanced mini split system. It'll come in on one of these walls from the outside with the compressors, and it'll come in probably here on the other side of that all thread. He'll probably want to pop up through the top plate, but I'm not going to make him do that unless he really wants to, and I prefer he not. So what I'm going to have him do is come out just under the top plate, and I'm going to build him a box below the trusses that runs just about right at the window header here, a little before, so I can still trim it out nicely. And then he can get into the trusses without cutting holes in them, and he can run to this middle wall and go up. He's going to air condition this in between the trusses somewhere. He'll throw a cassette down, and it'll be great. And here, this is the kitchen space. That's the main front door. This is the kitchen space. And I'm going to do the best I can do to have him put something right in here, because this kitchen is going to be a flat ceiling from there to here. And then starting at that truss, I'm going to build a box beam around that truss and have beadboard up. Box beam, beadboard up, box beam, beadboard up, and a main beam around this one. And then a little bit of a trim treatment on the side, and then we'll have thin battens running downstairs. So an air conditioning system here, a cassette, here a cassette in the garage, each controlled by their own thermostat. And then as we get upstairs, how to do everybody, if you can see me, but you can't downstairs. So you see this center wall. I imagine he's going to come up right here through this truss set and get into what I'm going to provide for him as soon as he comes tomorrow. We're going to frame somewhere at about 8 feet, which is about my fingertips here, over and across and above what will be a closet here, so that he can set in his distribution system for the second floor, which will put a cassette or a register blower in the bathroom, one, and maybe a blower there and a blower here in the bedroom. Hey, that's how you build houses. The associations in Seaside that are independent are really the ones that are, I think, making the most progress. They have to think more, they have to be more engaged, and the conversation's more dynamic and interesting. And here on this street where we're trying to design a new home, that's been the case. And when we did one on Tupelo, we had the same case. And this cottage is a great example of that cooperation. So in short, to follow up on that theme, and having done several designs with clients and for ourselves in Seaside, not only in an independent association down on the other side of town, and now this independent association and the other associations that are part of one central architectural review committee, this one was a little bit of a hybrid design, a garage, which is not enormously common in the carriage houses, a little bit of an extra footprint that's normally, a conversation. This one's a little bigger on the ground than is typically allowed. It's 307 square feet on the ground versus 240, which is allowed. And this particular association sees that as a reasonable variance, and I think aesthetically, if you do it right, the conversation is easy to handle. You just have to have the conversation. And then this thing turned out to be beautiful then. Not because of what just one person wants, but because of that conversation that happens in this association and one other. And I think it's great for Seaside. The homeowners can really guide and direct themselves to what they want this place to look like in the long run as it does rebuild. This design is only possible through the conversation between neighbors. And that's the way all good communities are. In the long run, the homeowners are the ones who should be talking to each other about what they want homes to look like. And the best thing is, I think, when the homeowners are cooperating and willing to make changes and adjustments to what they're trying to do for what the broader community wants to do. And in the long run, Seaside will renew, and it'll renew because the homeowners want it to. They'll influence it, and they'll make great decisions. It'll still be the wonderful town that you've always loved.